Are you enjoying that cup of coffee? Are you enjoying that English muffin?
Have you taken your 3 Tylenol to kill that headache?
Have you had your Metamucil for the day? That's good. Get that out of the way, drop a biscuit, and get ready to listen to the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Because we're going to tell you what to watch, what to listen to, what to read, how to spend your leisure time on this long Labor Day weekend, kids.
That's right. I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
Taping here, August the 31st, 2022. This, of course, will hit, as we mentioned, Saturday morning, September the 3rd, Labor Day weekend.
You get an extra day to sleep in. Listen to that. The new music will tell you. Watch a new movie. Start a new book. Do something fun. Start something streaming. Play catch up on a TV show, a streaming show.
We've got it all for you. And of course, as always, first and foremost, it's rock and roll hoochie coo.
Let's start off with Sammy, Hagar, and the Circle's latest release, Pump It Up.
That's right, 5 songs this week and kind of an album review.
Yep. So, Pump It Up from Sammy, the latest one.
From Crazy Times.
Yep.
New album coming out at the end of September.
This is a nice, strong, rockin' little tune they've got going on.
When I suggested this last week, you looked at me like you were going to puke because I said it's a remake of an Elvis Costello song.
It is, but they put their own pop to it. I liked it much better than the original.
You're saying that because I told you last week when I'd heard this, you hadn't yet. I said I like the Elvis Costello version better. You're just being annoying right now.
Yes, I am.
But I like the Elvis Costello version better. I like Elvis Costello and the Attractions Pump It Up.
I don't like Elvis Costello and the Attractions, so there you go.
This is okay. Sammy in the Circle, this is okay. You and I are already way off on the first 2 songs off Crazy Times. You didn't like the title track. I thought it's one of the best songs of the year. And now you like the Elvis Costello remake, and I'm like, I want Elvis Costello back. I don't think this is all that great. I give Sammy, Hagar, and the Circles version of Pump It Up a week, 2.5 frenzies.
I give it a 3.
No, not even close to 3.
Not you even close. So brain damaged from Elvis Costello.
I said I only like 3 or 4 of his songs. I told you this. But that happens to be one of them that I love is Pump It Up.
All right, there you go. We'll agree to disagree.
What's next?
Next up, Scorpions, Hammersmith. One of the extended UK edition only. Yes.
Sorry, can you?
This was
not. Wake me up when it's over.
This was not. No. Sorry.
At least it wasn't what the French
version. Oh my God, the French bonus version was brutally bad.
This is a UK bonus track.
They've got a French bonus track, which is God help us.
I'm just the Scorpions. I love them. I know they have said they're going to retire for years and years, and they keep coming back and they keep trying.
Just don't.
And Rock Believer was okay, their last album, but there's a reason why these are bonus tracks and they didn't make the cut.
Because they weren't good.
Hammersmith is just a dull,
generic.
Yeah, it does nothing. I give it 1.5 frenzies.
Yeah, that's about all it deserves. It was not all that.
It hurts me to rip on the Scorpions like this, but
these 2 bonus
you
tracks
guys are starting to sound the same, so formulaic, so generic, over and over and over again. You don't have the same fire you had 40 years ago.
The drive isn't there.
The love drive?
Yes. Oh, moving on. We will soldier on with Megadeth, their second single off the new third.
We skipped the second one
we did.
because on Principalities, we do not review Ice-T on this show. Anything he's involved in after that whole cop killer debacle with Body Count, I refuse to discuss him.
There you go.
Although I just did.
So, Soldiering On, this was better than the first song we reviewed. Not fantastic, but it's a step in the right direction. I don't know. It's still a 2.5 for me.
I kind of agree with you. I wasn't a big fan of We'll Be Back, the first single.
Yeah, I didn't care for that one all that much.
So I do think you're right. This is marginally better than that song, but I can only give it 2 frenzies. I still don't think in the end it's all that great of a song. And we'll discuss here in a little bit next week's plan for our album reviews, because we're going to kind of do something different and do a split review next week.
Right.
So we'll
tell you what we're doing here in a bit after we talk about Ayron Jones' new single, Filthy.
Now, I know you love this guy. You saw him in concert. I like
Ayron Jones. This one, I know, trying to go that edgier sex song, doing something. It was okay. It wasn't fantastic. There were some catchy riffs to it. A week, 2.5.
That's where I go. That's pretty much where I go. I admire what Ayron Jones is trying to do. He is trying to meld, to me, I'm not trying to sound like a pretentious music critic, but I've listened to the first album. I own it. Now listening to Filthy, he is trying to meld genres. He is trying to actually, let's put a positive spin on it. He's trying to be a unifying force. He's trying to take hard rock and pull it in and kind of give it a hip hop type feel, more of an urban feel.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as, but similar to maybe a Living Colour.
Right. You can tell that that's kind of their inspiration.
Right. So I will agree with you on the rating for the song. I'd go 2.5. I didn't dislike it, but it's nothing that jumps out at me.
No.
But again, I admire what he's trying to do. But again, Living Colour did it better.
Yeah. It's catchy, but there's something there that's holding it back.
And I felt the same way about the first album. There were times on the first album where you felt the magic. You felt like this is different. This is something that can be really cool and really groundbreaking. And then the next song you go, oh, okay.
We went generic.
Yeah. So very hit and miss with the first album.
Yeah.
We'll see where the new music goes.
We will wait and see. Now we're going to wrap up.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Wrap up with the Chili Peppers' Tip of My Tongue.
The first single off their second album
of the year.
2022.
This one kind of went back vocally to their early stuff. But musically, it was just kind of odd. It had a good bass line, but it was just really bizarre.
The problem I have with the Chili Peppers is, and I've never been a huge fan. I've liked them. To me, they're a greatest hits band. When I say greatest hits band, if I could go back, I have a lot of their albums. I have like half a dozen of their albums.
Pick and choose.
I would rather have waited,
a couple
not bought
of songs.
the albums, not bought the albums and just bought the greatest hits.
Yeah, because there's a lot of junk that they've done.
And when I listened to Tip of My Tongue, I was intrigued, but again, it was like eating a candy bar that you had, like a Zagnut. I haven't had a Zagnut in years and years. I don't even know if they make them anymore. But if somebody gave me a Zagnut.
Oh, I haven't had a Zagnut. Oh, that's why I haven't had a Zagnut.
No, you like the Zagnut. You like the Zagnut. But the thing is, you go, I really could go another 20 years without another Zagnut. Now that I've had one, I'm cool. And that's kind of how I feel about the Chili Peppers. This song sounds like reheated, rewarmed over, rehashed.
Early first album stuff.
The Chili Peppers are not the innovators that everybody gives them credit for. They found one style, their little rap hip hop. Anthony Kiedis doing his little rap thing,
which you get in
Flea
this
with the
one.
bass. It is so formulaic. Yes, the formula works for them, but it is so formulaic. It is depressing now to listen to them, in my opinion, because there is nothing new they have to offer. And
no.
In anything that I've heard recently from them.
No, this sounded like exactly like something you would have heard on their first album.
Right.
It is completely backslid week 2.
I will give it a very weak 2.5 is where I'll go. Because I did enjoy it. It was a little nostalgic, like you said.
You had the nostalgia. I did like the bass line, but the lyrics were really, come on.
No. But again, it's the same pace, the same rhythm, the same hip hop, rap, vocals. It's that just the same stuff over and over again. And I'm just over it. No pun intended. I'm over it.
There you go.
Move on. This is a band,
little more creative.
This is a band that needs to try something different, even if it fails miserably, like U2 did back in the 90s, where they tried to go into electronic dance music.
Yeah,
it failed miserably.
But they tried something
But that
new.
told them, let's go back to what works for us. And they seemed a little bit more revitalized, re-energized.
Right.
When they put out stuff like How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb sounded more like old U2. No Line on the Horizon, a great album, sounded a little bit more like old U2. And they still had room to experiment. The Chili Peppers just sound like they literally go into the studio, have a strict formula posted on the studio wall. Okay, here we start off with the hip-hop rap rhythm. Here, I will come in, Anthony Kiedis comes in and babbles on for about 30 seconds about nonsensical stuff. Flea's playing the bass.
And then we get a nice lyrical...
Dial it down a little bit.
Get everything going.
Oh, we know I really like a Zagnut. Because I like the Zagnut, and I like it under the bridge, and I like it with my friends. Sorry. Again, I am borderline on the Chili Peppers being in the Rock Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And the more they keep going, I think the more they're hurting their legacy. But they're selling out stadiums, and that's what
because
are there that many people out there that are buying into
Look how many people go see Dave frickin' Matthews.
I like Dave frickin' Matthews. I think he's good.
I'm happy for you.
You will never, never, never forgive me for that, will you?
I will never, 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 ever go see another Dave Matthews show.
See, I would. I'd be there in a second.
Nope.
Now, I'm not paying $100. I'll take a lawn seat for 40 or 50. I would see Dave Matthews again.
Good for you. Have fun with that.
All right, so yes, not an overwhelmingly positive set of songs this week. I kind of look at this as catch-up week for us in music.
Yep.
As we're trying to check boxes in terms of bands that we like, notoriously famous rock and roll bands that we feel obligated to review their music. Coming up in a couple weeks, one of those is Ozzy Osbourne. So,
yeah, we'll see how that one rolls out.
So for next week,
Coming
up Friday here, of course, we're taping before the release. You will hear this after the release. So jump on Spotify if you want to get a head start on us. Dave will review the new Megadeth album, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead.
Yep, I will cover that because that's more in line with my listening. While the maestro, Kevin, is going to take on the new King's X album.
3 Sides of One comes out Friday. I will listen to that. I will give you a review on that. Rarely do we do this, but I think this is a good week to do this because
musical tastes dictate we go our separate ways.
Sometimes we got to do this.
Yep. So,
because we just heard how bitter Dave can be about something like the Dave Matthews Band. So I don't want to have him reviewing an album that I know he's probably not going to like.
And again, Kevin likes stuff more mellow.
Would you stop? King's X is not mellow.
It's more mellow than Megadeth. You make it
sound like I'm listening to the new Barry Manilow album for next week.
You could.
Your wife would be the one we bring on for that.
We would.
She would be a special guest reviewer for a Barry Manilow album.
Yes, she would.
And she would yell at us and say, "Don't you dare disparage Barry Manilow, you stupid podcast wannabe fucks."
Now she would probably lean more towards Megadeth.
You brainwashed her.
She brainwashed me on Megadeth.
No, you brainwashed her. I remember she and I used to work in a music store together. She never had taste like this. She was more of the dance, upbeat stuff.
She still likes that stuff.
You have poisoned that poor woman. You have poisoned her. She liked Dave Matthews. You know she did. Didn't she? You've poisoned her with your evil satanic music.
Bite me. That being said, we're moving on. I am playing catch up. Jack White's album, Entering Heaven Alive.
Second of his
second
albums
this year.
Like the Chili Peppers, he's been a busy boy.
He has. You were worried about me listening to this one.
Yes, this is kind of where my fears come from. I know we originally said we were going to review this together. You had the off week.
Right.
So we didn't get to. I went ahead and reviewed it solo.
This one, I did not hate it. I was intrigued by this one. Surprisingly, because I felt it was an odd combination of the Beatles, Yellow Submarine, Sgt. Pepper era mingled with Donovan.
Wow, look at you. Look at you.
It had that kind of vibe to it.
Wow. Yeah, see, I've always stuck by my guns with Jack White and said he's just not as good without Meg. The White Stripes were so much better than what he's done in his solo career. He's better with the Raconteurs. There
were some in here that I'm like, really? Why? I mean, Queen of the Bees.
I love Queen of the Bees.
I enjoyed it, but that was one that really hit that weird Beatles vibe.
Right.
To it.
Right, but that's what I liked about it, with the xylophone in there. And
then the I Got You Surrounded. That had that Donovan-ish.
That was the one departure song on the album where you got a little bit of the electric guitar. You got some blues, some jazz, a little bit of funk in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I like that song as well, but the rest of it just sounded so similar. Just like we were talking about
everything
with the Chili Peppers,
was the same, but those two really stood out.
Yep, and they're right in the middle of the album. Yeah. So you got to go a long ways in to get to them, and then you got to take a long slog back out again.
Yeah, but like I said, those are the two that really jumped out as the most solid songs on there. About a 2.5 for the album.
I think I gave it a 2. I can't even remember anymore, but I think I went 2. I just wasn't all that impressed with it.
So, I mean, sitting there working in the basement, it was just kind of
It's not offensively bad. It's just
no, it was
underwhelming.
It was underwhelming, but it was decent enough for background noise as I'm working on putting in electrical outlets.
And then also for next week, 2 songs to review. Long Road from Ugly Kid Joe and new song from the Struts, Fallen With Me. So we'll have those for you as well as our split album reviews.
King's X for you.
Yes, kids. The parents are sleeping in separate bedrooms. We're done. We're over. Not really. Just for a week.
We'll be back then the following week with not similar, but reviewing the same album, Ozzy's new one.
Yes. And I can tell you right now, Dave and I are both so overwhelmed with joy to be looking forward to that album.
I am so excited. I do not know if I can control myself.
Yeah. I don't have great vibes coming in
No.
for Ozzy. Maybe there'll be one more song released before.
I doubt it.
But yeah.
It's very underwhelming at this point.
Yeah, the songs we've heard so far were not jumping
for joy. If I never heard Patient Number 9 again, I would be fine, but it's all over the airwaves now because it's Ozzy's new one.
Speaking of Ozzy, Ozzy's leaving the U.S.
Okay.
He's jumping on this whole Michael Moore, Bette Midler ship, I guess. No, he's not. he basically, he's from overseas. He's from the UK.
He's from the UK. Come on.
He claims that he's leaving the U.S. They've got their mansion up for sale for something like $16 million. Him and Sharon.
Something stupid.
If you read between the lines, it's because of taxes. They can't afford
California taxes.
They can't afford to live in California.
No, but if Ozzy can't afford to live in California, how can anybody else expect to live there?
But of course, he had to make mention of the gun violence in the country, which I understand completely the concerns there. At least he's approaching this a little bit better than all the other little pampered a-holes in Hollywood. Bette Midler and the
Leo and
fat-ass toad Michael Moore. And oh, I forgot. He said he's not leaving. He's going to make all of us do what he wants.
All right, you little fascist dictator prick.
I was going to say, that's in no way, shape, or form any kind of a fascist dictatorship, right? When one guy says, I'm going to stay and make everybody else do what I tell you to do.
Yeah. Fat fuck. Sorry.
I can't believe I used to like that guy. I can't believe.
I hate swearing on this, but he is.
It's okay.
He is an asshole.
Everybody knows it's an explicit podcast. It's okay. Let go.
I'm just trying to be more intelligent, but there are some people that just deserve the vitriol that we bring.
It's okay. Dave, he's a fat fuck. You can say it. But I did like Roger and Me. I thought that movie was brilliant.
And then he bought in
all downhill.
He bought into his own bullshit.
Yeah. Yep. And I've watched a lot of it. I stopped watching his movies when he put out the one about Trump. And I was like, this is just another guy who just can't stand Trump. And he's just going to put out there for 90 minutes how much he hates Donald Trump. And he found 4 or 5 clips of Donald Trump saying stupid shit. And we all say stupid shit.
Gee, guess what, Michael? You say stupid shit just like everybody else.
Finally, as we wrap up our music segment, some bad news and then some good news. Bad news, one of our favorite venues that we go to at least once a year, if not 2 or 3 times, unfortunately had an incident this past weekend. Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, I listen to Wiz Khalifa all the time when I'm smoking dope and drinking Kool-Aid.
Isn't that the noise the toilet makes when you're...
Wiz Khalifa! Yep. Wiz Khalifa's show in Noblesville, Indiana, outside of Indianapolis, at a place we fondly call Deer Creek, of course, now known as the Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center.
Yep, cut short due to a stampede of people trying to flee the lawn after somebody yelled something about gunshots being fired. Which, really? Really? How is anybody getting a gun in there with the metal detectors and the wands? Seriously.
Well, that's the first thing I thought, too, was number one, like you said, how does that happen? How does a gun get in there? And then number two, great. Next year, when we go see a show there next year, they're going to be doing a full anal probe. It's going to be Fletch, Moon Rivers, you know.
It takes long enough to get into these frickin' venues as it is, and this is going to make it even that much harder.
And the dope-smoking hip-hop potheads screwed it for everybody, as I fucking knew they would. I was waiting for something like this. Every time I see the lineup down there in Noblesville, and I see the 4 or 5 hip-hop shows, and I go, which one's going to be one where something bad's going to happen? Can you imagine working there and having to clean up after that?
No. Hell, there are some of the regular shows that I would hate to clean up after.
Yeah, sorry kids, but this just proves to me there are certain shows that we're paying for. When we go see a show of an older rocker, like a Sammy Hagar, somebody like that, or Dave Matthews, we're paying extra prices because the insurance the venue has to cover, because of the other bullshit shows like this, where some stupid idiot yells fire or yells gunshots. Like Dave said, there's no way in hell anybody's getting a gun in there. No way.
No.
And now, like I said, next year, be prepared for Vaseline and a probe up your anus. Because they are going to make it harder than ever to get into these venues now, especially in Noblesville, because of this garbage.
Thanks, morons.
But Dave and I will now have a bonus concert review for you on the good side.
We do.
To wrap up.
We have been waiting
The music
and waiting and waiting for Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers to visit our region once again, coming north from the southwest.
And we will be seeing them in a new venue we've never been to before, the Hi-Fi.
Down in Indianapolis.
And how scary is it that my daughter, who's just about to turn 21, has been there and we haven't?
Go figure.
But October the 12th, we will be seeing Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers for the 3rd time. And you know what the only thing I've been able to think about since we bought tickets is? Is Patchouli stinking his wife? Is Patchouli stinking his wife / girlfriend gonna be there?
Oh,
and if they are
God.
this time,
I'm kicking his freaking ass.
I'm doing it. You'll bail me out. I'm taking that man out. I'm taking his Rastafarian ass woman and him out for what they did to us, pushing through at the last concert we saw, Roger Clyne, up in Kalamazoo at Bell's. No, unforgivable. I let it slide once. It does not slide twice.
You actually step back. You probably handled it a little bit better than I would have. But
I didn't want to do that.
No. They moved up during my youngest boy's favorite song, and I'm recording it, and they're trying to bounce around, bumping into me, and I'm throwing an elbow back. I'm not moving because I'm getting this song recorded for my kid.
They were nasty, awful people.
And they smelled like crap.
Hopefully they will not be in Indy like they were in Kalamazoo.
All right.
Next segment is movies this week. I have got 2 major reviews for you. Dave will share in as well. We'll be right back. In the fortress of solitary justice, 2 brave men hold the fate of the sports world in their hands, with the utterance of a single word: frenzy! These seemingly ordinary men become the maestro and the conquistador, destined to save the world from stupidity on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all noble podcast hosts everywhere. Dave and Kev stand for truth, justice, and the frenzy way.
Wake up if you haven't already. Yes, I wanted to do that for your hangover headache. I'm the Conquistador, Dave Height.
And I'm the maestro, Kevin Crane.
And this is Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! It is movie time, kids. Grab your early popcorn, settle in on the couch.
And here's the thing. As this hits, Saturday, September the 3rd, is National Cinema Day.
That's right.
So you can get out there today if the tickets aren't already all gone.
$4.
3,000 screens across the North American continent.
$4 tickets.
$3
tickets.
Not $4. $3 tickets all day, night, any format. That means IMAX, 3D, whatever format you want to see your movie in, whatever movie you want to see.
Get
Saturday.
out there and do it. Can you buy ahead, or is it just
That's
at the
catch.
door?
That's the catch. I don't know, because I was thinking about this. Because, okay, $3 tickets, very enticing. You hear that, you go, I better buy my tickets ahead of time. If you go on Fandango or you go on Atom Tickets,
forget about it.
Are you getting $3 tickets and then having to pay a $4 or $5 fee on top?
Boom, not worth it.
You guys can check it out. You can run a test on it. I'm not.
Nope. If I want to go to a movie, I'm going to go and buy my ticket on the spot.
Now, there are some interesting movies out there this weekend, because the reason they're doing this is because there are no new movies. There are no really good new movies. So what they're doing this weekend is they're re-releasing Jaws on over 1,000 screens, IMAX, and I don't know if 3D, but I know IMAX. Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Seen it on the screen already.
That's coming out.
Jaws might entice me enough. Maybe.
So this is like a movie celebration Saturday is what this is. This whole Labor Day weekend, with Jaws coming back out in the theaters, with Spider-Man No Way Home coming back out in the theaters, Top Gun Maverick's expanding again. They're trying to push people to get back in and see that one more time.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'll watch it when it hits streaming.
When it streams, yes, I will not pay to see it.
But get out there, watch a movie, and I will start off telling you a movie you should go see, goddammit. Get out there today, this Saturday, as this podcast hits. Go Sunday, go Monday, go all 3 days for my favorite movie of the last couple years, Bullet Train.
Really?
Bullet Train is so fucking awesome. I can't even describe it other than
really?
Well, I can describe it. Yeah, I actually can. Bullet Train ended up exceeding all of the mediocre expectations I had for it. I'd heard it's too much. It's too busy. It's too overwhelming. Yes, probably for a feeble mind with an IQ of 12, yes, it probably is. For people like Dave and I, it's great because it's actually intelligent. It's actually got a twisted plot. The characters, you don't know who they are until later in the movie. Things get exposed. Things get explained in flashbacks. It is unbelievable. It is like a Quentin Tarantino movie on steroids.
Wow.
Without the pretentiousness. It is just action, humor, violence, blood, guts. Action, humor, violence, blood, guts. And it goes on for just about 2 hours. Maybe 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Wow.
Brad Pitt is great as an assassin trying to find his center. He's trying to leave
He's
violence
trying to
behind.
find his chi.
Yes. And meanwhile, he's got literally there are at least 10 to 11 characters you have to keep track of throughout the movie. And it is not overwhelming. It all makes sense in the end. It is spectacular. It is funny. It is clever. It is witty. There are some things I would like to tell Dave about that he would love, but I don't want to give them away. There are a couple great cameos in this, especially towards the end. There is one cameo that is priceless, and literally the actor / actress gets 2 seconds of screen time. But it is priceless. It is so fantastic. And
it works in beautifully.
Perfect. It is perfect. It is perfect. And that's not counting the other people who pop up in the movie, who you don't expect.
All right.
Yes.
I may have to go out of my way to see this one now.
There are goofy names involved. We talked about this. Dave and I looked at some descriptions of the movie when it first came out. You know, Brad Pitt's character is Ladybug. And then there are 2 assassins called
Fluffy Bunny Ass.
Lemon and Tangerine. They all make sense once you see the movie. All the names end up making sense once you see the movie. I loved Bullet Train. I will buy it. I will watch it multiple times. 4 frenzies. Best.
Whoa.
Better than Spider-Man.
Whoa.
Better than Spider-Man No Way Home. The best movie I have seen in years.
Wow.
Bar none. Best movie I've seen in years.
Holy crap.
And I hold back nothing on this. Best movie I have seen in years.
Damn.
Bullet Train. Get out there for $3. Go see it. Your boys will love it.
All right. This might be one we have to pull the trigger on.
If you guys go and you don't like it, you can disown me as a friend.
Wow, you heard it here.
If you don't like this movie, I mean, this movie is phenomenal.
This is right up. This is
an all-time action classic.
All right.
This is an all-time action. I have not loved a movie this much since The Nice Guys, which you still haven't seen yet. The Nice Guys is the only movie I can think of within the last 6 or 7 years off the top of my head where I would go, The Nice Guys might be better. That's it.
Right.
That's it. No Marvel movie. Nothing. Nothing I can think of off the top of my head outside of The Nice Guys is better than Bullet Train.
It's even better than the original John Wick.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes, it is. Because there's more to it. There's again, the plot is just always churning, always going. Coincidences. The big thing about the movie is it's about fate and luck, and how some characters have luck on their side and some are cursed with bad luck. But yet sometimes it gets flipped and twisted.
So it's all about timing.
Dude, there are so many. A water bottle comes into play, and they keep referring to the water bottle and showing you the history of the water bottle and how it works into the plot, and it's brilliant. I mean, it is ungodly brilliant.
All right.
Ungodly
there
brilliant.
We go.
I cannot recommend Bullet Train anymore. For the gold standard of Sports Frenzy, Weekend Edition, 4 frenzies. 4 frenzies, and I don't even hesitate, not even equivocating, not going, maybe I'm going to 4 frenzies.
All right. Now we're going to have to dial it down as we hit the Netflix big show. Wasn't it on Netflix?
Amazon Prime.
Or Amazon Prime. One of those.
One of the streaming
services. Samaritan with Sylvester Stallone. An underwhelming superhero movie.
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
Slow to develop.
I might have liked it a little bit more than you, although I agree that it was slow.
I did
That
like
part of
the
it-
character build-up.
I didn't
And-
like the kid.
The kid was annoying as hell.
Bad child actor.
He
Bad
was
child
not good,
actor.
Not good. That had something to do
Stallone
with
is
it. Stallone
is
was
rock solid as he always is.
The kid, God, if they would have had somebody else playing it.
Yeah, they needed a kid who was a little bit more sympathetic. This kid was just a whiny, bad actor.
Yeah,
is really
he had
what
no
he was.
charisma, no screen presence.
Now, the whole premise of the movie is that there was a hero called Samaritan who disappeared decades before.
Ago after an epic battle with his twin brother, the Nemesis.
And this all happens in a Granite City, a fictional city.
Yep.
Very
Down on
similar
its
in
luck.
that feel to Sin City.
Gotham
Right.
type where everybody's downtrodden and
there's
poor
not much
and
to
broke and economic despair.
Right. There's not much hope. There's not much to look forward to in this city.
Crime pretty much runs rampant. And then everybody wants to know where Samaritan is. The kid thinks he's finally found Samaritan.
Even though he's fucked up multiple times on telling people, oh, I think that guy's Samaritan. I think that guy's Samaritan. And he's been wrong and wrong and wrong. He brings in a author who's written books about Samaritan. Is he dead? Is he alive?
The bad guys in this, the gang trying to do their ultimate heist. Formulaic. It's what you would expect to that point. Trying to give the kid some sense of hope to save the kid for the future of the city, with one intriguing little twist in there that made the frickin' movie better than it actually should have been.
Completely agree. I was waiting to see if you were going to bring up, it has a great plot twist towards the end.
That absolutely almost redeemed the movie.
Well, you almost felt like you should have seen it coming, but then you go, well, how could I have? I don't see how I could have seen this coming.
Right.
But it's one of those things we go, oh, it's good writing.
Perfect.
Yes, I agree completely. The rest of the movie is pretty formulaic, pretty generic, pretty standard.
But once you hit that point,
it's almost like you feel like they went to the studio and said, here's this.
Watch this.
Yeah, here's the script, but highlighted, circled in red pen.
Boom.
Look at this at the end and tell me you shouldn't make this movie. Just for this one epic plot twist.
Right there.
And I agree, that almost redeemed the movie. Not quite.
Not quite, almost. Almost.
I had a hard time coming up with a final review for this, just because I think I liked it just a little bit more than you, but I still don't know if that pushes me to a weak recommendation or a strong fail. I'm going to end up going with... If you
like a superhero movie and you're scrounging for something, then yeah, check it out. If you're a Sylvester Stallone fan
and
want to complete the canon,
I think Sylvester Stallone is so underrated.
Stallone is rock solid.
He gets such crap.
Stallone is rock solid in this movie.
Yeah, he's great. He's charismatic. He draws your attention every scene he's in.
Yeah, it's the kid kills the movie.
And the villains are generic. There's really nothing about the villains that stand out.
No.
A lot of it reminded me of the Batman movie with Bane.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the bad guys taking over the city.
Yeah.
The riots.
Yeah.
Let's burn some cars.
Well,
let's blow some shit up.
Gotham. Because if you go back to the TV series.
Same thing. Yeah.
Same damn thing.
Yeah. So... I think you've talked me into. I will go with my highest not recommended rating, which is a strong 2 Frenzies.
That's where we're at.
Just a near miss. A near
A
miss.
near miss.
You really
If
want
you
to
could have
recommend
had if you would have cast the kid better.
You really want to recommend it because of Stallone and because of the big plot twist, but the
But
rest of it just
it's a
is
slog to get to that point.
the rest of it is really, really just generic, like Dave said, formulaic stuff that you've seen it 100 times, if not more.
Yeah.
In action movies throughout the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s.
Yep.
Not a disaster, not an awful movie.
Not awful.
Just underwhelming.
Underwhelming. Expecting more, you got less.
We're holding off on story time for a week or two here. So we're still hoping to bring you guys a couple story times involving the movies Heat and Heavy Metal.
Yep.
I will have them.
You will have them next week for sure. I am trying to get to them.
And of course, next week, since it hits Peacock for free for us,
yep,
this coming Friday, we will have our review next week for Jurassic World Dominion, the final movie of the second trilogy in the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World film series. Yep. I am hoping for better than what I got from Fallen Kingdom, but from what I've heard, Dominion's worse.
We will see. We will wait.
Now, are we watching the expanded edition or the regular edition? I think we should watch expanded. I always want to see the extra stuff. I think we need to do
expanded
because I heard Peacock will allow us to watch the expanded edition as well. So
if we can get the expanded, we watch the expanded.
Yep. That's what she said. Show me the expanded one, baby.
But
now, of course, Dave and I watched tonight before we started taping the trailer for a movie we have been waiting for a long time.
Yep.
Confess Fletch. The third Fletch movie. This time, of course, with John Hamm taking over for Chevy Chase since it's been decades.
Yeah, it's been way too damn long. And the maestro reminded me it's a different actor. You cannot expect the similar type timing, ad-libbing.
Tell the people the first thing you thought when you were watching.
When I was watching it, I've tried to picture John Hamm. Could he pull off the classic line, "Can I borrow your towel? My car just hit a water buffalo."
And that's when I said, you can't expect him to do that or to do Moon River. You know,
it's all about ball bearings these days.
You've got to look at it differently. You're never going to get Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was Fletch.
Yeah. And this, God help me, this almost feels like the Pink Panther, where you had the new Steve Martin.
Right.
Versus
Peter Sellers. Nobody was ever going to be better than Peter Sellers.
Right.
You had to look at it as... Now, I never watched the Steve Martin ones. Could I see him pulling it off? Sure. I could.
Did he? Not really. So...
that might actually be a very apt comparison. I think that's a really good comparison. Because, of course, Hollywood is always going to try to make money, try to find new ways to generate money from old characters.
Yeah.
But you've got Peter Sellers. Nobody's going to do Clouseau better.
No.
Nobody's going to do Fletch better than Chevy Chase.
So we just have to wait and give him the full movie. I don't know that they brought the best in the trailer. I hope they didn't bring the best in the trailer.
We'll see, because, of course, this is going, we mentioned this a couple months ago. This is going on a very limited run in theaters, and then will be on Showtime, I believe, if not day and date soon after.
Yeah.
They run it for a week or two in the theaters. I was more optimistic about the trailer than you. I thought it was fine. It was fine. It was clever. I thought it was funny enough.
It had
I'm
the
looking
moments.
forward to it.
We'll see.
Still
We
got the
will
old
see.
Fletch logo.
Yep.
So, from the old Gregory McDonald books.
Yep. Good stuff, kids.
Yep. One more little tidbit, and then Dave's got a book review for you. Another movie that Dave and I have been looking forward to. Got news on this week. Good news.
Good news.
Finally, Liam Neeson, his turn as Philip Marlowe. The movie
Finally.
Marlowe will be in theaters, open road. Got a hold of the distribution rights for North America. Marlowe will hit theaters December the 2nd of this year. Looking forward to that.
That's one we may have to do a Sports Frenzy movie night out for.
I was thinking the same thing because I've read the book. I love the Raymond Chandler novels.
Good stuff.
I will be interested to see. Philip Marlowe's been played by a lot of great actors. Of course, we've seen Elliot Gould. We've seen
James Garner.
Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum has done it.
So I want to see. I could see Liam Neeson doing very well with this. I hope he holds up his end of the bargain.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, moving on to the book review. Matthew Riley has finally concluded the Jack West Jr. saga with One Impossible Labyrinth. What started out over a decade ago with the Seven Deadly Wonders as a small coalition of small nations led by Australia trying to go up against these royal families to stop the Great Omega event, which could be the destruction of Earth. Kind of sci-fi, lots of action adventure. Every chapter ends as a cliffhanger throughout all of these. But One Impossible Labyrinth brings Jack West Jr. and his team battling 3 other teams from the hidden royal families of the world from the dawn of time, trying to reach the ultimate throne to see, can they stop the destruction of the world and somebody becomes the ultimate ruler with all power. Classic Riley novel, lots of action, lots of suspense. You don't know where he's going to go with different things. It was the conclusion that needed to be done with this one. Very well done. I will give the book a 3.5. I will give the series a 3.5. It's kept my interest. It's one of those you can just fly right through all 7 novels.
High praise. Very cool.
So I really enjoyed these. There's a lot of unbelievable stuff that happens like you would get from any James Bond or any of the good action movies. This could be a solid movie series, discounting his freaking disaster that we just watched not long ago, Interceptor, that he wrote and directed. But if he would go with something like this, it would be a can't miss for me.
Funny you bring up Interceptor because I think that was the week you were off. And I was going to point out to you because you'd reviewed it the week before. And you mentioned that Chris Hemsworth had a cameo in it.
Yes.
You know why? The woman is his wife. The lead actress is his wife.
That is his wife. Okay.
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
I didn't know if you knew that. And
I
dropped that little gem of knowledge on the podcast audience, but you
thought she might have been.
Yeah.
Or at least that they were dating.
Yeah.
I thought there was
That's
the relationship catch in there. That wraps that one then.
Yep.
So, no, definitely check out and read the whole Jack West Jr.
And where should people go?
Your local library, damn it! 7 Deadly Wonders, 6 Sacred Stones, 5 Greatest Warriors, on down the line. Good stuff, kids.
Books can be just as exciting, just as intriguing, just as adventure-filled as any movie.
Most of the time, more so.
Especially when you read the ones that we tell you to.
That's right.
James Lee Burke, Matthew Riley, Robert B. Parker,
John Sanford,
Jonathan Kellerman. You just start writing these names down, people. Rewind if we're going too fast. Write them down. Go get the books. You will not be disappointed.
That's right.
That's going to do it for segment 2.
We'll be back with segment 3, some streaming stuff. I think there's an alien that we have to discuss.
And a bunch of California thugs reaching the end of the line. Sadly, for us, because we love the series, Dave is still catching up. I will not spoil anything for him, but I will wrap up.
Season 6 wrapped up, and I'm into season 5, so I'm so close.
The Cody family saga has concluded. Animal Kingdom.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Will Smith. You might know me as the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You might also know me from Bad Boys 1, Bad Boys 2, and Bad Boys for Life. And now you must also know me as an Academy Award-winning actor for King Richard. Also by now, you know there are 2 things I do not like people talking about in my presence. Namely, my open marriage and my wife's lack of hair. Well, now, there is a 3rd thing you do not talk about in front of Will Smith. You do not talk about Sports Frenzy 2.0. My boys, Kev and Dave, will hit slap the sports world in Hollywood each and every week on Sports Frenzy 2.0 and the Weekend Edition on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher. Just remember, keep Sports Frenzy's name out your damn mouth. All right, kids, we're wrapping up here, the Weekend Edition. Last call. Dave and I are on our final beers as we record here. August the 31st, 2022. It's almost midnight, the witching hour, switching over to September, or as I like to call it, the start of fall.
Not yet. 2 weeks away.
We've got TV and streaming news for you. Dave and I are going to have to tiptoe around each other here because he's got stuff he wants to talk about for episodes I haven't watched yet. I've got stuff I want to review for stuff he hasn't watched yet. So
it's all over the place, kids.
Be prepared for 5 or 10 minutes of complete vagary.
Because we're vague.
Not vagrancy. That's next year when I get kicked out of my house. This year, vagary.
Because we don't want to ruin anything for anybody.
So Dave has got his updates on our favorite shows right now of the late summer.
Yep. So we are dealing with the vampires and what we do in the shadows. And Kevin's not seen... We haven't watched, as we tape on the 31st, we have not watched the episode that dropped on the 30th yet. So we're going back the previous week with the home improvement episode. Get through the beginning, get through it to the end, because the payoff is so worthwhile. This is an example of the ultimate long game.
Just like I told Dave, though, I watched the beginning of the episode, and those 2 twins that play
they're annoying as hell.
Those actors are just the worst. I don't know how they have survived in Hollywood as long as they have.
They shouldn't have, because they suck. They suck harder than the vampires do when they're on a feeding frenzy. Is about the best way to wrap it up.
Any other week, I'd probably be caught up. This was the one week where I've been watching movies, and I have not watched a lot of TV. So I will catch up
The
and be ready.
the payoff on it is so worthwhile that we will be able to discuss and get caught up so we can actually talk about it, because it warrants full discussion.
Well, that will be next week then.
Yep.
We will definitely I will
get
be able to wrap it up tomorrow
there we go.
as we tape. So I will be caught up. No worries.
All right.
Just one of those things. And then of course our favorite resident alien.
Yep. So, of course, Alan Tudyk playing an alien, duh, in Colorado. He's a doctor trying to fit in this small town.
Patience, Dave. Patience.
Yes, Patience is the name of the town. And yeah.
We like Happy Asta.
Asta saved his life. And now she's trying to deal with the fallout. And Harry, trying to be the good friend to help her out, made her life more of a hell than it had been.
Yeah, because he wiped her memory.
Yep,
now
which
this is
ruined an ultimate moment that she could have had.
So Harry, with good intentions,
made
as a naive
bad
alien, screwed up Asta's life.
Yep, again.
Yeah.
Harry tends to screw up people's lives regularly.
Yeah, I told Dave that I am about 30 minutes behind where he is. I got halfway through the third episode of the second part of the second season.
Yes.
And I hate when they do that.
It's so stupid.
Thank you, Walking Dead. That's why they all do this now, is because Walking Dead has stretched out the final season
for 3 years.
Their show for forever.
And guess what? Nobody's watching it because of this, the way you did it. So, but no, Resident Alien, there's the last half hour packed a lot.
Again, I did not see the last half hour. So again, what he's doing, kids, if you have not heard of this before, this is mental torture, is what he's doing to me. He's trying to tell me, well, you didn't watch the episode of The Vampires. You didn't watch the last half of the last episode of Resident Alien. Oh my God, Kev.
There's some stuff coming down the line. And yes, we discussed off mic that the mayor and his wife, their shit is getting old.
I just thought,
but
the second episode, especially of this second part of the second season, you started to get too much into the touchy-feely, namby-pamby stuff. There's not enough humor anymore. It's getting a little bit droll and downbeat for me. Like the aliens, that I like Happy Asta. Yep. I am tired of her being always moping and oh my God, my daughter who I gave up. I'm trying to reconnect, but she doesn't want to reconnect. And now this happened with the alien wiping my memory. And oh my God, it's like a therapy session now instead of a sci-fi comedy.
Yeah, but you get him interacting with the kids more in the last half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I got him doing chores.
So, no, I'm hoping we see an uptick now after that second episode, which was kind of a snooze fest. We'll see where we go from here. So, Big Black.
I will be caught up by next week on that. Outside of Jurassic World Dominion, I will watch that. That's the only movie I got on the agenda. I will catch up on TV.
There we go.
Especially now because my Sunday night viewing is now empty because one of my favorite shows of the past decade has ended. Animal Kingdom, the saga of the Cody family on the West Coast in California, of course, based on the movie featuring an Australian crime family. Guy Pearce, of course, was in it.
Yep.
6 seasons. Dave is into season 5 right now, so I can't spoil anything for him. Again, being vague, intentionally. We've talked about season finales. We've talked about series finales and how it's a very tricky proposition. Series finales, Seinfeld failed. For as great as Seinfeld was, Seinfeld failed miserably.
Yeah, the
MASH
finale was bad.
brilliant.
MASH was brilliant.
Cheers was good.
Brilliant.
Good. I say good, not brilliant.
Well,
and then whatever other shows you like that you want to pick, Sopranos, Friends. I don't even remember Friends other than what, Ross and Rachel in the airport, maybe, possibly.
I don't even remember if it was that. I don't know.
That tells you how memorable it was, right?
Yeah, it wasn't. You know the good series finales.
See, I would put the finale of Animal Kingdom with Cheers.
Good, not great.
Very good.
Appropriate. Ish. Ah.
Ish.
Did they leave it open?
Boy, I don't know if I want to spoil anything for you. Boy, see, kids,
Now,
I'm just thinking out loud here on the podcast. I don't want to do that to you.
Don't do that. We will wait.
I will just say it was not
It
disappointing. It was not disappointing.
Okay.
It did not quite go where I thought they were leading it to, but it came close. It was satisfying. Let's put it that way. It was satisfying. It was good enough.
Okay.
It was good enough.
I can live with that.
Normally we rate things 1 to 4, 0 to 4, whatever. God, if we're wasting our time on something that gets 0, God help us.
No kidding.
Now, overall, the entire 6-season run of Animal Kingdom, I give 4. Again, one of my favorite shows of the past 10 years. Up there with The League. You know, I loved Animal Kingdom. This is the type of show that I love. The crime drama, the intensity, the characters are great.
The character development is solid.
Acting is fantastic.
The acting is brilliant.
And again, I know you rarely, if ever, have heard me on this podcast up to this point throw out 4 frenzies.
And you've done it twice in this one.
I think I gave Mammoth, WVH, 4 frenzies. Is the only
you
other
just
time
gave Bullet Train.
Well, I know, but I'm saying before today, Mammoth, WVH might have been the only other time I gave 4 frenzies. But today I've given it twice. I gave it to Bullet Train, but again, this is the overall
arcing Animal Kingdom, 6 seasons, the whole series.
Right. The finale, I will give 3 frenzies for the final episode. I will give it 3. But overall, including most of the final season, which was very good, very, very good, 4 frenzies.
All right.
And I'm sad to see the end of the saga of the Cody clan in terms of TNT calling it quits. That's all I'll say about that.
Is there hope for Prime?
Now, the other show that Dave and I were talking about recently that we discovered, I know he's been busy with his HGTV renovations and everything.
To watch Sprung yet.
I watched all of it. I watched all of them. 4 episodes so far. It's Greg Garcia. It is brilliant so far. Brilliant.
It's Greg Garcia at his best.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Excellent.
Yes. This is a worthy successor to My Name is Earl.
Which we still need resolution on.
And Raising Hope, of course, since Garrett Dillahunt and Martha Plimpton are both starring in Sprung.
How about you spring a finale for Earl that's worthy?
Yeah, can you tell Dave is bitter?
Hey, not as bitter as because we don't know if they went left or right.
Terriers. going back to... If you get the Terriers reference that Dave and I throw out there every couple months, about left or right,
kudos to you.
You are a true Sports Frenzy fan. You know what we're talking about. 1 season of Terriers on FX
is not enough.
All right. I promised that I would have news here on TV and streaming that would upset Dave, but I'm going to save that for the end.
Of course you are. So you don't want to give me an aneurysm this early.
No. No, I'd prefer you blow a gasket at the end. I'll give you a couple minutes to rant and rave if you want. Let's start off with.
Let me find my center.
That sounds like Brad Pitt in Bullet Train. That's kind of the guy he was. He was funnier than hell, though. Quoting his therapist to his handler on the phone.
Nice. There we go.
All right. Finally, after years of speculation, it is in production. There have been pictures taken of Eddie Murphy wearing the Detroit Lions jacket. Yes.
Yes.
Beverly Hills.
Yes.
The official title, Beverly Hills Cop. Axel Foley is in production and will be on Netflix probably in 2023.
Yes.
But they have filmed him on set wearing the Detroit Lions jacket. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I've heard, is in the cast. I like him, so that's
He's
cool.
good. I like him.
So looking forward to that. That will give me a reason to sign back up for Netflix
oh,
whenever that happens.
God, that would be awesome.
Let's just hope this is a worthy follow-up.
Please don't F it up.
I even like 3. A lot of people didn't like 3.
I thought 3 was pretty good.
Now, 1 and 2 are classics.
Yeah. But come on.
3 was fine. 3 was good.
Please bring Judge Reinhold back as Billy. We got to have Billy.
I have not heard one way or the other on that.
I will be disappointed if Billy isn't back.
We know Dave loves the boys. I love the boys.
My boys love the boys. And we know who's coming in for season 4.
I can't always surprise him. You can't always get stuff past him.
Not always. But now my question, when Jeffrey Dean Morgan joins the show, is he going to be Homelander's grandfather?
See, I have no clue as to what character he's going to play. But again, we get another Eric Kripke link back to his days in Supernatural.
Yep. So that being said, my question, no. He is playing a different character. My youngest looked up.
So he got some info.
He looked up the comics and who this character is supposed to be.
Okay. So he went to the source
material. He went to the source material, but it will still be good.
Okay.
How can you not go wrong bringing Jeffrey Dean Morgan in?
One of the coolest actors out there. One of the coolest actors out there. Absolutely. The Losers, Supernatural, The Walking Dead, now The Boys.
Love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's awesome.
Okay, again, before I drop my bomb on you, I got a couple streaming news items that we can bitch and piss and moan about. The Netflix option with ads will be coming out soon. Probably not till 2023. I think they're going to throw it in a few test markets, which means New York, Chicago, LA.
Yep, basically they're going to do what you're paying now will get ads, and if you want ad free, you're going to have to pay a couple bucks more. No, they're
actually not doing the Disney screw job. They're actually talking about $7 to $9.
Really?
And it'll be high def. That will be high def.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
They're going because they realized they'd priced themselves out of the market. So where Disney is going up in price, Netflix is actually going to give you a little bit more for a little bit less.
All right, good for them.
Now that is my understanding, and again,
we'll see.
It won't happen across the North American continent. Again, I got to start thinking about the world because Netflix,
the global phenomenon
all over, everywhere. But for us here in the U.S., Canada, 2023, $7 to $9 a month is the projected price with ads, high def.
All right.
Now, of course, you get some good news on Netflix.
Now let's go to the bad news
on Paramount Plus. Looks like Paramount Plus is bringing Showtime in. And you sit there and go, well, what's wrong with that? It looks like they're going to force current Paramount Plus subscribers to take on Showtime whether they want to or not.
Of course, it's at an additional cost.
Yeah. Now, Showtime subscribers can keep Showtime, but for some reason, Paramount Plus subscribers like me are going to be forced to take Showtime or ditch the whole thing completely.
Money-grubbing bastards.
So supposedly for the next month or so, for a limited time, you'll be able to sign up. And again, I don't know how long the promotion lasts. If you sign up in the next month, you'll get both Paramount Plus and Showtime for $7.99 a month.
This is all getting ridiculous, kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I will look into this, it just hit today. I have not had a chance to research it. I will look into it. I will let you know next week what I find out. But I can tell you this. They better give me a goddamn year of this for $7.99 minimum. I better get this for a year minimum.
You might get 3 to 6 months. You might get 3 to 6 months.
They can kiss my ass. I don't want Showtime. Yes, I would like to see Confess Fletch, but that's it. Showtime sucks. Showtime is awful. I hate all the original shows on there. They don't have Ray Donovan anymore. I don't want Showtime. I want Paramount Plus. I want my Beavis and Butthead, and I want my Star Trek. And that's all I want. I want $5 a month for that.
But you're not going to get that anymore.
And this is where the streaming companies are going to start eating their own tails.
They already have.
Now let's talk about over-the-air TV. We don't usually do that.
What's over-the-air TV other than all the singing and Big Brother and...
Do you remember when Fox started up decades ago?
Yeah, where you had the onset with Married with Children, where The Simpsons rolled in.
Well, let me ask you something. When did primetime run on Fox?
Primetime on Fox, wasn't that between 8 and 11?
No, that's the normal. That's
the
normal
normal they
channels.
did the 7.
No. They did 8 to 10. They let the local affiliates
that's right,
have,
the local affiliates.
and they still do on a lot of nights.
Yeah, they do the early news.
Guess who wants to join them? NBC. NBC is talking about going to a 2-hour primetime window for the network shows and giving the 10 to 11 slot back to their affiliates.
Oh, because they're getting too damn cheap and don't want to produce any more shows?
I think eventually we're going to see the end of network TV.
Because
NBC will end up being Peacock.
All the
ABC
good content is
Disney,
going on streaming.
Because CBS will end up being Paramount.
Yeah, because all you get on regular network TV are your singing, your variety, your Big
Chicago
Brother,
PD, Chicago FD, Chicago,
your NCIS, your NCIS Miami, your
completely
NCIS
lacks originality because they're funneling all the money
stuff
into the streaming.
Yeah. Oh, it's painful.
It will be interesting to see if NBC actually has the balls to follow through on this. Because if they do, then you got to figure ABC and CBS will follow right behind them.
Oh, they're going to be right there.
All right, time for the bad news before we go
let me blow a gasket and go off the rails.
Now, again, Dave got me on Jeffrey Dean Morgan, so maybe he knows this already. But if he doesn't, he's got plenty of time to rant and rave. I've made sure he's got plenty of time. I've only got one dumbass, so he's got like 5 minutes to scream and yell. A&E is suing.
I know this bullshit.
And the producers of On Patrol Live, your favorite news show, because they're saying they basically took everything from the old version, copied it over, the hosts and everything, the format, and it's a carbon copy of what. Here's my question. If A&E doesn't want the fucking show, why can't they go somewhere else and do the fucking show somewhere else? Why does A&E now get to sue them?
A&E are a bunch of baby asshats over this. They got butthurt over the whole, we're defunding the police, so we can't have live PD anymore. So bye-bye. We want nothing to do with any of the police departments. Oh, okay, we'll keep Dan Abram on to do court cam. And we're going to do now off of court cam, we're going to do live courtroom stuff in court night. But they wouldn't bring back live PD. Abrams tried to get it done. Couldn't, they would not budge. He found another venue to work with his producers, brought back the police departments they worked with, brought everybody back to do On Patrol Live on Reels, because A&E were a bunch of assholes the way they dealt with it, and they felt, oh, we have to be socially whatever with all the idiots up in the Pacific Northwest. So, sorry, A&E, you got nothing. You had the rights to live PD. The producers, including Dan Abrams, they have a say in it as well. It was their idea they brought to you. You said no more. So it's not live PD. It's On Patrol Live. You snooze, you lose. Just because it's now one of the top rated shows, again, you're butthurt.
Can I go on a tangent for a second?
Sure.
Because you mentioned the Pacific Northwest. I don't want to do this on the podcast, but I'm going to because it's fun. My daughter,
my niece,
Dave's niece, talked to her the other night. She is dead set on living up in the Portland area.
Oh my God.
It came up briefly. I can't remember what we were talking about, but it came up briefly. And I mentioned, why would you want to live somewhere where people went downtown and set up autonomous zones and basically took over the city? She said, I don't know what you're talking about.
What? She's
looking at 2 years and moving to
she has no idea what's going on up there.
No idea.
She's got no idea what politically, socially, no clue as to what's taking place up there.
Nope. And I'm like, I was stunned. I was like, kiddo, you don't know about what's been going on in Seattle and Portland over the last couple of years?
With all the looting and mass chaos, assaults,
rapes.
Murders, rapes.
No, she didn't know what I meant when I said autonomous zones and people taking over downtown. Didn't know.
Oh my God. Oh.
And this generation is supposed to be so in touch with everything going on between the Twitterverse and Instagram and Facebook and constant information.
How do you not know what's going on up there?
Because they don't look at the news. They only look at celebrity news. They don't look at the real news, what's going on in the world. They only look at who's at the VMAs, who's wearing what, who's dating who.
That might be her. That sure as hell ain't my kids.
Very disappointing. A little bit of an aside there, but very disappointing.
Wow. Yeah. How can for somebody who's supposed to be socially aware, she has no clue.
No.
Oh no. God.
That scared me when she told me this week that she did not know about the autonomous zones in Portland, in Seattle. I was like, you don't know what's going on in this world. You think you're socially conscious, you think about, you hate Blue Lives Matter, you like BLM. You don't know what's going on in this world if you don't understand when I say autonomous zones in Seattle and Portland.
Wow.
All right, we're going to stick with politics for our final little segment here. One dumbass of the week to wrap things up here. I know lately we've been getting into politics more and more on the weekend edition. I'm trying to stay away from it, but at the same time, I think sometimes things need to be called out. And I think this is illegal beyond belief. I don't know how nobody is calling this jackass out on this. My one dumbass of the week in government and pop culture is California Governor Gavin Newsom.
Oh, this guy is such a moron.
How do you come out? How is it legal to come out and pledge $100,000 to the guy running against Ron DeSantis in Florida? Across the country, how is a governor allowed to contribute to another governor's political campaign?
Aren't there stipulations on how much can be donated? And is
They're supposed to be, yes.
Now,
but how can one governor enter into another state's political race?
He should not be allowed to. Is he doing it? Is he putting state money out there from California?
I'm sure he's saying I'm doing it through my own money.
Or is he trying to get a bunch of individual donors?
No. He did say personally he's donating $100,000 to Charlie Crist's campaign in Florida.
I thought there was
who's
a
running
cap
against DeSantis.
I thought there were caps in place on donations.
This stuff is so corrupt. And I can't believe we got to put up with 2 more years of this bullshit.
Oh, my God.
We're obsessed with our former president, who everybody says broke the rules, yet we're seeing rules get broken left and right by the governor of California, by our president, and him just forgiving all this student loan debt and expecting everybody else to pay for it.
How about our leaders in Congress?
Well, they've been worthless going back to Obama.
Exactly.
Because they should have term limits, and they shouldn't be in the position they're in anymore because they're too old, they're too entitled.
It's too out of touch.
It's supposed to be a calling, not a career.
You're supposed to be serving the country, not yourselves. It's amazing how much money these people make when they get into office.
Oh, yeah. Look at how their net worth goes up.
Tenfold.
From when they got in to when they leave.
At least tenfold. Minimum.
That's it, kids. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. We will talk to you next week with a review of Jurassic World Dominion. He's the Conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the Maestro, Kevin Crane.
See ya, peeps.